Conecuh sausage is a game day favorite and always great on the grill. Pick up a package your local grocer or visit the Conecuh gift shop in Evergreen, Alabama. Coming up, special guests and features, updates from around campus, a first word from Coach Freeze, a look around Auburn athletics, and a check of the day's action across college football. Featuring Ronnie Brown, voice of the Tigers Andy Burcham, Jason Campbell, and Brad Law. Now, the host of the Tiger Tailgate Show, Paul Ellen.
Famous Arkansas politician Bill Clinton once said, "You can put wings on a pig, but that don't make it an eagle." He probably was not talking about football, but it was still an interesting comment. In addition to Mr. Clinton, the natural state is best known for possum pie, which contains no possum and is actually pretty good, and the Arkansas Razorbacks. Hello again, everyone. War Eagle, and welcome to another Saturday of Auburn Tiger football. The Razorbacks are the most hard luck and the most dangerous team in the SEC right now. 5 of their 6 losses have come by a touchdown or less, and they broke out of their losing streak last week with an overtime win at Florida. Star running back Rocket Sanders has returned to support the offense led by veteran starter KJ Jefferson. The stakes are high for Auburn today. As we come down to the stretch run of the season, the Tigers need at least one more win to get to the postseason. The offense has awakened the last 2 weeks, but can Auburn put together back-to-back consistent efforts on the road? We'll find out in about 3 hours. Now it's time for the first word from the Auburn locker room. Here's Andy Burcham with head coach Hugh Freeze.
In a short time, what have you learned about Guyton offense, the new offensive coordinator for Arkansas?
Very, very similar to what we faced last year. It's exactly fully in Kendall Brow's world, and I think they've been together a while, so it's more tempo, and it's certainly very similar to what we've seen before. So I expect to see a lot of quarterback runs, probably out of some 20 personnel sets or open sets. I think they've got some injuries at tight end. So that's kind of what I would expect to see if I'm just trying to put my mind in their offensive coordinator's mind, with the quarterback and running backs they have. It wouldn't shock me if we saw a good many +1 runs and the open set runs.
Listen for Andy's complete conversation with Coach Freeze about 30 minutes prior to kickoff, presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama. Paul Allen back with you on a beautiful day for football in Northwest Arkansas, joined by Andy Burcham, Ronnie Brown, Jason Campbell, and a special guest, Auburn Athletics Director John Cohen. Well, guys, as we get this thing underway, Brad Law's here too, by the way. Sorry about that. As we get this thing underway, it's kind of an interesting matchup. Andy, starting with you, it's the 34th game of the series. Auburn's dominated, and they've especially dominated here. Tigers have won 8 of the last 10 games, all but one of them since Arkansas joined the SEC in 1992. The Tigers 9-5 here in Fayetteville. It's been a good place by and large for the Tigers to play.
Until last week, it was Auburn's last road victory in the SEC. 2 years ago, when Auburn came here with Bo Nix and won the ball game here, the Tigers haven't won on the road since until last week. And I thought last week was important, in addition to many things, was for that reason. Get a win on the road in the SEC. But Ronnie, last week, that was an Auburn. I was probably an 80% Auburn crowd in Nashville last week. It will be decided. Razorback fans here today.
Yeah, especially, I think with the limited space that they had in Nashville at Vanderbilt. Obviously, Auburn travels well, but like you said, in this setting, we're going to be a majority Arkansas Razorback fan base. But, I think the good part is I think last week, hopefully that's a part of understanding how to win on the road, the importance of not really worrying about the crowd. It's just more so what happens between the lines and being able to focus on that. There were some ebbs and flows last week's games, got off to an early start. A couple unfortunate calls by a referee. I think they allowed that to dictate some of the pace or some of the outcomes, and so they had to readjust and accept that and move forward. And so hopefully that was kind of like a lead into what we're going to see this week, Jason, and hopefully, in Arkansas, being able to say, okay, we're on the road, but really let's focus on what happens down here and control the things that we can control.
Well, the one thing, Ronnie and Andy and the guys we don't have to worry about is playing in the construction zone. Last week it took a lot of focus for our football team, but the way our fan base showed up, was outstanding. It brought the energy that was needed in a road type of atmosphere that we played in last week. But coming into this game, though, it's a different ball game. Arkansas is coming in, winning a tough game last week down in Florida in overtime. So they come in with a little bit of momentum. Auburn's riding a 2-game winning streak. So this is a game that's meant for a lot of different reasons. And for Auburn, you're still trying to get to that bowl eligible, but you're trying to continue to win games that pick up confidence and keep building the blocks towards where you're trying to get to in the future. And then for Arkansas, this is a game they have 3 in a row at home. They're trying to finish strong. So it makes this game very competitive. But I feel like for Auburn, they feel like we left a lot of points on the board last week, Andy. We was in Nashville. We didn't recover some of those drop punts that that Vanderbilt had, and we didn't take advantage of some of the field position. Going right now, we rank 115th nationally, I think, on third downs. So that's something we got to improve on. But running the football has been a great thing for us. We're third in the SEC rushing the football.
John, let's now get to you and take the 10,000-foot look at this thing, as you have to do. Number one, you're probably the busiest man, at least in Auburn right now, not in America, but flew in this morning. What's your take on where Auburn is and the importance of this game as sort of a tipping point for this season?
Well, when any coach takes over any program, the first thing that they try and do is create a culture, and I think Hugh's definitely done that. I attend a lot of our practices, and I sit in on some meetings, and there's no question this staff has this group of athletes, student athletes, exactly where they want them to be. But we're not there yet. I think everybody knows that. We know that there are better times ahead. But this team, I don't think there's an issue with the way they compete. I don't think there's an issue with understanding what the plan is. It's just about execution right now. And let's be honest here. You look back 6 months, how many of the players on this team even knew each other?
Yeah.
So,
that's amazing what you think about.
I'm looking at Jason and Ronnie here. Both those guys were on great teams of guys they came in with. Mm-hmm. And they established relationships with over a 2, 3, 4 year period, and half of our roster didn't even know each other 6 months ago. So I think we're in a very good place. It's going to get better, and we have the right people to make it better.
What do you think about today? This will be an interesting matchup. Last week was like a neutral site game where Auburn sold all the tickets. This game will not be like that. It's the first time Auburn has kind of faced comparable talent for this year in a road environment in a while.
Yeah, obviously we have a great history of playing well here. We have a great history against Arkansas. But I think any coach and I think any person who's played in these games realizes, hey, this is about us. It's not about them. It's about our execution. It's about our game plan. It's about treating your body the right way and making sure you're ready to go out there and compete your heart out for 60 minutes. So those are the things, again, as you get deeper into this, you realize as you get older that it's about you, not as much about them, and that's where we're going to get.
Well, if you come by and say hello at the wrong time, you're likely to get drafted to be on the pregame. So, John, thanks for taking time to be with us today on our very busy day.
War Eagle.
War Eagle. That's John Cohen, Auburn's athletic director. And Whataburger. I want to tell you a little bit about Whataburger's white chocolate raspberry shake. It's back. The flavor perfectly balances rich white chocolate with tart raspberry and is sure to become one of your go-tos when craving something sweet. Try one when you can, because they're only available for a limited time. On the menu today, well, Auburn Athletics Director John Cohen joins us as a special guest to teach him to walk down the hall right before we go on the air. Coming up a little bit later on, we'll talk to former Tigers Eli Stove, Brian Robinson, Derek Brown, and Dontarius Thomas, a bunch of All-SEC and All-Americans joining us as we count it down to Auburn versus Arkansas. Stay with us. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
People take their chili seriously. At Whataburger, we also put chili on a pedestal made of 100% fresh beef. The Whataburger Chili Cheeseburger, made to order with our own chili on 2 all-beef patties, melty cheese, onions, mustard, and crunchy corn chips. This is chili elevated to burger height. The Chili Cheeseburger is back for a limited time. Whataburger, just like you like it. Some people just know that a perfect football field is all about the details. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate. Take the head groundskeeper, for example.
Hands at 10 and 2. 90-degree turns, perfect stripes every time.
He knows, because he's done this 100 times. Just like he knows that paying attention on the road can save safe drivers 40% with Allstate.
Saving 40% is based on the national average premium savings for Allstate auto customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Damaging an underground utility can cause a lot more problems than you think. By causing a potentially avoidable damage to underground utilities, there's many scenarios that do not end well. To keep the gas, power, water, and internet running, using 811 to have your underground utilities marked is a critical piece of the damage prevention process, whether you're a homeowner or an excavator. It's free, it's simple, and it's the law. Visit al811.com for more information.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
Paul Allen back with Andy Burcham from Reynolds Razorback Stadium. We're going to shift gears here. Andy flying across the southeast this morning after calling the game last night. We're 2 games in. The Auburn basketball Tigers, the men's team, 1-1 this year. Enough to kind of get a feel for this team, at least to start with, Andy.
That was a disappointed Auburn bunch that came back from Sioux Falls, South Dakota on Tuesday. That game was there to win against Baylor, and Baylor used that 11-0 run late in the second half and pulled away for the win. I thought Auburn played better last night, not nearly the competition that it faced on Tuesday. Couldn't quite shake Southeastern Louisiana, but I like the team's depth, and Auburn's bench has been a huge factor offensively in the first 2 games. I think last night it was like 48-10, the bench points for Auburn in last night's game.
Yeah, the depth is certainly something that Coach Pearl likes. The defensive effort so far, not something he likes. But let's don't talk about that. Let's talk about what is coming up, because Bruce Pearl has scheduled a formidable December schedule starting this Thursday night.
Auburn will play in the Legends Classic. You and I were there back in 2019 at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Auburn plays Notre Dame Thursday night. Brad Law, Randall Dickey, and you will have the call. And then Friday, Auburn plays either St. Bonaventure or Oklahoma State. 2 great games in Brooklyn at a fabulous venue. I look forward to listening to you guys make that call on Thursday.
And a little bit later on, Auburn will play Indiana in Atlanta. Some other
USC, Virginia Tech come to town.
Yeah, some great games coming up in December. Hey, the first hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show brought to you by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Auburn Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
Hey, Tiger fans, be sure to join Coach Jay in Auburn women's basketball this season in Neville Arena. Limited reserve seating options for season tickets are on sale now. The package includes home games against Tennessee, LSU, Alabama, and South Carolina. For more information or to purchase season tickets, visit aubtix.com. Thank you for supporting Auburn women's basketball, and see you this season in Neville Arena. War Eagle!
Things we take for granted, ordinary opportunities for parents and their children, can be a foster child's extraordinary. You have the power to do something positive that will change the life of a young person right here in Alabama. Open your heart and open your home to a foster child today. For more information, visit www.dhr.alabama.gov or call 1-866-64-AL-KIDS. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
As a coach, you don't just put any player on the line. You've got to make the right choice and recruit the right people. Train them, give them experience, and coach them up so they're ready when you call. I'm Kenny Mullins for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613. And that's how we feel about our electricians. Our electricians are recruited, educated, and trained on the job to become the top 1% of electricians anywhere. So we're ready when you call. Make the right choice. Hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW613.org.
Who out there likes to eat chicken? Did you know that when it comes to chicken production, Alabama rules the roost? In fact, we're ranked second in the country in broiler production. That's meat-type chickens, with nearly 2,600 poultry farm families raising more than 1 billion birds a year. Alabama's poultry industry adds more than $15 billion a year to the state's economy and provides jobs for almost 90,000 Alabamians. So be sure to prepare your favorite chicken dish this football season.
We know it's raining across a good bit of the southeast, but in northwest Arkansas, the sun is shining. It is a cool, brisk day for football as Auburn and Arkansas counted down to kickoff, or we counted down to kickoff for Arkansas and Auburn. Paul Allen with Andy Burcham, Jason Campbell. I almost called him Caldwell there. So, you see Jason Caldwell around every now and then. And joining us on the phone,
Thanks,
a
Paul.
man who, y'all don't look alike at all either. Joining us on the phone, a guy who's got great memories of an Auburn career and especially great memories of a couple of games with Arkansas. Eli Stove joins us. Eli, War Eagle, and thanks for taking time to be with us.
Thanks for having me, War Eagle.
War Eagle to you. Well, let's get right to it. Was it, 2016? First play of the game, and they drew up a play that worked pretty well for you. Tell us about that 75-yard touchdown in the first play of the game against Arkansas back in 16. That had to be a thrill for you.
Yeah, it was a thrill. So to start off, it was Friday when we talked about having that play go first. And then he said, "Don't tell nobody." He said, Coach Malcolm said, "Don't tell nobody. Don't tell your parents. You're getting the ball first," and all that. He said, "Don't get too excited that you fumble the ball and all that." He said, "Just get the ball and run how you normally do in practice." And I was nervous coming in, getting the ball the first play of the game. But once I got it, it was an easy path. It was wide open. Like I said before, I feel like anybody on the team could have scored on that play.
Well,
it was
not.
good blocking, great blocking across the board. And, let's get my thing and run.
Eli, what was the play? Take us through the play.
So he was running crazy the whole year. He was getting a whole bunch of yards every game, the past couple of games. So they know if I would have – we've been faking the speed sweep and handing the ball to Petway. But that game we faked the inside zone and ran a speed sweep on the outside. And like I said, it was good blocking.
Big hole, that's for sure. Talk about coming to Auburn out of Niceville, Florida, a small town, northwest Florida. What led you on your path to Auburn? Because I'm sure you had opportunities with your speed and skills as a receiver to go a lot of different places.
Yeah, so my family's from Birmingham, Alabama, outside of Leeds, or outside of Birmingham. It's a place called Leeds. So it's a mixture of Alabama and Auburn fans in my family. But my mom's an Auburn fan, big Auburn fan. Then my dad's been in the military, so we traveled around a lot, got to Florida, and I think I got an offer from Bama first. I visited Bama. But then when I went to Auburn to visit Auburn, it was beautiful. It was what I imagined in a college, and I ended up taking a lot of visits and loving the atmosphere, the people, the play, the coaches. It was a great time every time I went to take a visit. So I fell in love with it.
Hey Eli, this is Jason Campbell here. Hey man, talk about the 2017 year. You guys went 10-4, but probably one of the best 10-4 teams to come through Auburn. You beat both teams, Bama and Georgia, back-to-back when they was ranked number 1. Just talk about that experience of what that was like beating both of those teams at home, and then also having to play Georgia again within a 3-week period, but finishing it off at 2017. Just talk about that year, because y'all defense was outstanding. Y'all offensively, y'all did a lot of funky different things. Just talk about that season.
Man, that was probably my favorite season. Just beating those teams alone is hard to come by in the same season. But yeah, it was crazy atmosphere in both games. You know, we struggled early on in 2017. I don't think people really understood how many struggles we had as an offense, at least. Defense has always played lights out, but as an offense, we always struggled throughout 2017. And when we got to the back end of the season, we started playing good. But Georgia was a good game plan. We started off hot. Darius Slade caught a deep ball, great play, and then we just continued off that really. And then came to the Bama game. We just really stayed consistent on offense. That was the biggest thing, was not being consistent in how we played, running the ball and passing the ball. But we mixed both, and we did pretty good at both. And then going into the SEC championship, Carrion got hurt. It was a tough game. It's kind of hard playing the same team twice in 1 year. And, of course they're going to fix things that they did wrong in the past game. So, it's all about coaching and strategy. But, I mean, it is what it is. But we still played our hearts out. We just got a better outcome, though.
Eli, what have you heard about the merger of the XFL and the USFL, and how does that affect you and your future?
Not much, to be honest. I know that things coming out in the 13th, what's going to actually happen. I'm hoping that it's going to be more positive than negative. I think if they said 10 to 12 teams, they're going to end up cutting some teams. Hopefully it's not my team. If it is, then I'll try to get another job somewhere else. But, I mean, I'm praying it's not my team, but it should be a weird sequence to, like, merging both really just both organizations and just, playing XFL and USFL together. I don't think it's ever happened. So
it's a big adjustment to make, that's for sure. Tell us what you're doing these days while you're pending on your professional career. I know you went back to Northwest Florida for a while. You still there?
Yes, sir. Just home training. Always trying to train. You never know. I get a call from anybody. Just working, training kids, really just helping out my community as much as I can. So,
when you think back to your days at Auburn off the football field, because you had a lot of great moments on the football field, both the plays you made and playing with some great quarterbacks, but what are your other memories of your college career? Anything stand out for you?
Really just meeting different types of people. Everybody's nice. Everybody's, they love Auburn. Everybody's a family.
Yeah.
I'd say for sport-wise, not football, would be going to the basketball games. Basketball games, when we had Bryce Brown, Anthony. It was just, great atmosphere in the games. It was fun to go to and watch. So I love it. I love going to every game.
What was it about the Arkansas series? You never lost to Arkansas. Was there something special about Arkansas for you, Eli?
I don't know if it was special. I think we were just always a better team.
That's pretty simple.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
That does help a lot. Eli, thank you for taking time to be with us. We wish you the best of luck as you go ahead and try to extend your professional career, and we look forward to seeing you hopefully in Auburn, if not at football games with the overlap. As it happens, we'll hopefully see you maybe at a basketball game. But take care, and we wish you well. War Eagle to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. War Eagle.
War Eagle. That's Eli Stove, Tiger, great receiver. Had some great memories, both of the Arkansas series and a lot of other games during his Auburn career. Big play guy. Hey, the Auburn Tigers put their trust in Auburn AV every home game for the best fan experience, and so should you. Bring the football game day experience home when you have Auburn AV design and install your home entertainment system. As the preferred audiovisual provider of Auburn athletics, Auburn AV has what you need. Learn more at auburnav.com. The Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
War Eagle, it's a great day for Auburn Tigers to get vaccinated. Many children and adults that delayed vaccinations during the pandemic are still behind schedule. It's crucial that we take steps to get everyone back on track with their routine immunizations. Children and teens can still catch up on their vaccinations even if they start late. Make sure you and your family are all up to date on all recommended vaccines, including COVID-19 and flu. Let's all do our part to get back on track. Don't wait. Vaccinate. For more information, visit alabamapublichealth.gov/IMM.
Auburn Bank presents Championship Moments.
Throughout the season, we've chronicled Auburn's 2013 championship journey. Game 11 pitted the Tigers against the Georgia Bulldogs. After seeing a 20-point fourth-quarter lead slip away, the Tigers were down to their last play in dire circumstances.
Here's your ball game. Nick Marshall stands in, steps up, he's going to throw downfield, just a home run ball, and it is tipped up. And Lewis got it on the deflection. Lewis is going to score. Lewis is going to score. Lewis is going to score. Touchdown Auburn. Touchdown Auburn. A miracle in Jordan-Hare. A miracle in Jordan-Hare. 73 yards, and the Tigers with 25 seconds to go. A 43-38.
An iconic call, an iconic play, an iconic team. The Tigers were 10-1 with the Iron Bowl on deck 2 weeks later. I'm Jacob Hillman, and this has been another championship moment presented by Auburn Bank, champions of you.
Hey, Auburn fan, it's time to stretch those legs and reach for another bag of Golden Flake. Home or away, with family or friends, you know no game day is complete without your favorite snack. So enjoy Golden Flake or any of our other delicious snacks from the Utz family of brands and sit back for the rest of the game. Golden Flake in Auburn football, a winning team. Simple, Southern goodness. Golden Flake, celebrating 66 years as the official salty snack of the Auburn Tigers.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
Welcome back to Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Time to check the Yellowwood scoreboard. The early wave of games underway. A couple of big ones going on, or one big one in particular. Number 3 Michigan has jumped out to a number 10 to over number 10 Penn State in the early going in Happy Valley. It's 14-9, and they have reached halftime in that game. So Michigan leading Penn State 14-9. Jim Harbaugh is not in attendance at the game, but he is in Happy Valley, so he could be there. If he were to get a halftime injunction, he could be right over there for the second half. Other games, 8th-ranked Alabama going to Kentucky and leading 28-7 midway through the second quarter of that one. Alabama making big play after big play as they jumped all over the Wildcats. Texas Tech is leading 16th-ranked Kansas 10-0. They have reached halftime in Lawrence, Kansas. Down in New Orleans, it is 23rd-ranked Tulane leading Tulsa 14-10, just 19 seconds remaining in the first half of that game. And Tulsa with the ball, trying to punch in some points here right at the end of the half. Elsewhere, Army leads Holy Cross 14-0. Boy, Army's been playing pretty good football lately. That one's at halftime. Indiana 27, Illinois 19. They are playing at Illinois. 3 minutes to go in the first half of that one, a high-scoring game. Maryland leads Nebraska 7-0, also in the Big Ten. And back to the SEC, South Carolina 13-0 over Vandy. That is at South Carolina. They have reached halftime. Also, Virginia Tech pounding Boston College 31-7 late in the first half. The first hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show brought to you by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Auburn Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
In football, it's important to call the right play. In life, it can be even more important to make the right call, especially regarding termite protection. To protect my home, I called Cook's Pest Control and got the Centricon system. You don't have to live with termites. For a free quote, make the right call. Cook's Pest Control and the Centricon system.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
What widens the eyes, tightens the stomach, and flutters the heart. Adrenaline. Feel it for yourself in the Toyota RAV4, Camry, Corolla, and Tacoma. Get 2.9% APR for 36 months on a new 2023 Toyota RAV4. Toyota, let's go places. Offer valid through December 5th, 2023. $0 down for well-qualified buyers with approved credit and financing through Southeast Toyota Finance. $29.04 monthly payment for every $1,000 financed. Excludes tax, tag, registration, title, and dealer fees. See dealer for details.
The game has changed, and the future of Auburn athletics now demands a strong NIL program. I'm Jason Campbell. Let's come together, Auburn family, and make a lasting impact. Visit OnToVictory.com. Every dollar you contribute to On to Victory helps create NIL opportunities for our student athletes. Visit www.ontovictory.com and be a part of changing the game for Auburn athletics.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
We are back on the Tiger Tailgate Show from the wind tunnel that is the press box here at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Brad Law, Ronnie Brown here in the booth as we count you down to Auburn and Arkansas today. And joining us on the phone is All-American safety Brian Robinson, who played an integral role in, well, a lot of Auburn's success in those 93 and 94 campaigns, particularly, though, this game in Fayetteville some 30 years ago. Brian, welcome. War Eagle, thanks for being with us today.
War Eagle, and thanks for having me.
Well, let's start right here in Fayetteville, Brian. What do you remember about that game in '93 in this stadium?
Well, first things first is the weather, the negative 10-degree wind chill. Us being from Florida and having a lot of Florida guys on the team definitely was not our type of weather.
No, it was. There are a lot of people with stories about the weather. The weather is the first thing that everybody talks about that day, for sure. What do you remember about that season coming in? I mean, you guys had started undefeated, and what either stories from the week of preparation or the mentality of the team as you got ready to come into that game?
Well, we were a resilient bunch, and that started from day one, workouts, us having that mentality, that win mentality at all costs. So although the weather was bad, it definitely was not going to impact, our play on the field. And, we pulled together and played complimentary football that day, despite the weather, and was able to come out of there with the victory.
Brian, as you talk about your career and, I think some of your fondest memories, in the 1994 season, you led the SEC in interceptions. Talk about when you watch these current players play the safety position, what would be some of the key things that you would share or a bit of your knowledge to be able to help these young men, play the position a little bit differently because it's changed a little bit. There's not as much of a regular old school tight end. A lot of these guys are pass catchers. What do you see when you watch this new game?
Well, having eye discipline, and definitely film study. Spending extra time watching film, studying your opponent. That would always give you the edge as far as, likes, what other teams like to replicate and do. So what I see that, in today's game is just, a lot of, for me it's a lot of lack of preparation, let's say, for your opponent. To be the best, you got to beat the best, so I have to study that opponent from top to bottom. And, again, I'm not saying it's not being done, but, one thing that was branded upon us, was getting in that film room and just doing extra, studying tendencies.
We're going to talk about '94 and particularly the Florida game in just a bit. One more note about the game here: you had a pick six in the game, and it was a huge play in the game, and I'm sure film study played a little bit of a role in that. But the '93 team in general, you guys were recognized, a reunion at Jordan-Hare just a few weeks ago. Were you back for that and talk about being celebrated with that team?
Yes. Love to be back with the guys. It was definitely a memorable moment to see everyone and see how many guys were able to make it back healthy. We're older now. That was 30 years ago. So, a few of the teammates were not able to make it. My roommate in general, Calvin Jackson. But, you know, it was just great to see everyone back and healthy and doing well, man, and still maintaining that winning mentality, that attitude. And that was our theme, you know, for our team, is that attitude.
Yeah, and as you talk about, Brian, as you talk about, like, you know, those memories with teammates, talk a little bit about what got you to Auburn, you know, and I think that experience in terms of what you were expecting versus what you learned actually leaving Auburn. Like, talk a little bit about that experience.
Well, what brought us to Auburn was a change of scenery, you know, coming from, you know, the city or Fort Lauderdale, let's say the lights and the glimmer, to more of a subtle place like Auburn, Alabama, was definitely an opportunity to focus on you know, your strength, your task, and that was playing football and trying to, you know, graduate and do well. One thing we were able to definitely learn there was team, camaraderie, family. You know, Auburn's huge on family, and to have that love and support and to be able to experience different things in life, it just helped. It helped, I can definitely say, me mature and grow as a man, and be able to experience and have that life experience and different interactions with different people and different experiences. And, again, I wouldn't change anything about it. A few different decisions, yes, but overall, you know, the experience was great. Love it. War damn Eagle.
Brian, you were part of a really significant recruiting pipeline. They called it the Dillard Pipeline. That area was really good to Auburn, and Auburn was really good to that area of Florida during that time.
Yes. And for us, you know, to have 5 guys that played on the same high school, you know, as competitive as Dillard in Broward County, to be able to come and showcase that talent in the SEC and for each one of us to have an impact in the winning for Auburn and to be able to make memorable moments and to make history and for us to be All-Americans and become, you know, to really be able to go on and experience other things in our career, again, wouldn't change anything about it.
Yeah, and you guys started something. Was that a collective conversation, or was that it's just the way it worked out? Like when you talk about the change of scenery, you know, from Fort Lauderdale to sunny South Florida, going into Auburn, Alabama, where all the trees a little bit more rustic, let's say. You know, you guys established that pipeline, and talk about the importance and the pride of that. Because when you know, are from Fort Lauderdale, I'm familiar with Fort Lauderdale and guys throwing up the L. Like, talk a little bit about the pride that you guys take in, you know, being from that city.
Well, it definitely was a collective decision. Of course, each one of the pieces of the puzzle had to fall in place. We each had to see opportunity, you know, and that opportunity was shown to us at Auburn. So for us to make a decision to say, hey, you know what, we're going to unite as brothers, and we're going to take on this task of the unknown. Again, coming from the city life of Fort Lauderdale to the more of a country type setting of Auburn. You know, it takes family. It takes someone to be able to lean on and to have that brotherhood and to have those brothers with me and to be able to lean on us, you know, through the good and the bad times, to push us through the times that we needed to be pushed through, you know, and to be that shoulder to lean on when we needed to lean on. Again, it was something that was great, and you don't see it much now down here because the teams are a lot spread it out. You know, coming from Dillard High School, a traditional school, you know, a lot of the talent was there at the school. You have some schools here now that's like that, but you don't see much of that anymore. But to be able to create opportunities for those that were behind us, like the Rose Greens and the Charles Dorseys and the, you know, all the other ones that came behind us, you know, is definitely great. To be able to provide opportunity for someone else, I mean, again, it's legendary.
Brian, let us know before we let you go what you're up to these days.
Just working, man, raising family and maintaining that winning attitude, trying to win every day, make sure every day counts and have a positive effect on the community and my kids, and that's it. Watching football, loving it.
Well, we hope you enjoy the heck out of today's game. We'll tell you that. We have really enjoyed this visit. We appreciate it so very much and look forward to talking again with you down the road.
Hey, man, thanks for having me on again. Anytime. I appreciate it. And once again, War Eagle.
All right, War Eagle. Former All-American safety Brian Robinson joining us here on the Tiger Tailgate Show. Had 3 picks in the Florida game in 1994 down in Gainesville. And, oh, by the way, the Picks for Kids program is back this year for its 12th season. Chick-fil-A is donating $1,000 to Children's of Alabama for every INT by the Tigers. Picks for Kids program benefits nearly 2,000 kids each month in the Hearing and Speech Center at Children's. War Eagle and eat more chicken. The Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
Hey, Auburn fans, it's time to stretch those legs and reach for another bag of Golden Flake. Home or away, with family or friends, you know no game day is complete without your favorite snack. So enjoy Golden Flake or any of our other delicious snacks from the Utz family of brands and sit back for the rest of the game. Golden Flake in Auburn football, a winning team. Simple Southern goodness. Golden Flake, celebrating 66 years as the official salty snack of the Auburn Tigers.
How Far Do They Drive is presented by your local Toyota dealer. No matter your destination, Toyota goes with you. Last week, Auburn led Vanderbilt 17-7 at halftime. The Tigers got the ball at their own 25-yard line to start the second half. After 2 Jarquez Hunter runs, Rivaldo Fairweather drew a pass interference flag to set Auburn up with a new set of downs at the 47.
First and 10 for Auburn at the Tiger 47. Thorne drops to throw. Steps up into the pocket, throws. He's got Fairweather wide open at the 25, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Rivaldo Fairweather, 53 yards, Auburn to the end zone.
The Tigers' 3rd touchdown play of the game that covered 50 yards or more capped a 3-play, 75-yard drive. Auburn went on to win the game 31-15. Visit your local Toyota dealers or explore Toyota.com today. Toyota, let's go places.
War Eagle. It's a great day for Auburn Tigers to get vaccinated. Many children and adults that delayed vaccinations during the pandemic are still behind schedule. It's crucial that we take steps to get everyone back on track with their routine immunizations. Children and teens can still catch up on their vaccinations even if they start late. Make sure you and your family are all up to date on all recommended vaccines, including COVID-19 and flu. Let's all do our part to get back on track. Don't wait. Vaccinate. For more information, visit alabamapublichealth.gov/IMM.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
Ronnie Brown is analyzing the game and cleaning up messes all at the same time here in the press box. If you're watching the YouTube stream on the Auburn Tigers YouTube page, you can watch that. Speaking of watching things, Ronnie, film study has been a topic. It was a topic with the AD before we went on the air today. Brian just talked about it then. The importance of film study. How important, how big a role did that play in your career, college and professional?
You know, it was really important, and I think starting, my collegiate career, it was a huge part of it because, as you know, I redshirted my first year, Rudy Johnson, and the second year we had Cadillac come in. And so for me, it was trying to figure out how to add value as a player and knowing how to be versatile as a player. And so that meant I had to learn how to play first, second, third down, have to be able to move and be able to be put in different positions, but also being able to do that. Now you have to be accountable, understanding defense and understanding what they're trying not to allow you to do. And so it helped my game a lot and tremendously. And in the fact that, as I navigated to my career, you talk about film study, Jason has attested to this. We had a different coordinator every year here. So going into the NFL, we had 3 head coaches. We had, an ownership change. We had all of these changes. And so, being able to adjust, but also being able to understand the importance of film study, knowing your opponent and what they're trying not to allow you to do, and understanding your assets as well, it helps a lot because I think 80% of the outcome is determined by pre-snap reads, whether that's life or business. And so it helped a lot.
That's a really good point. All right, a little insight into film study here. The first hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show is brought to you by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Auburn Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Game picks are 2 minutes away. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
Just the good stuff. Only the good stuff. classic hits. Wings, 94.3.
When we say we're an everything school, we mean it. Auburn University isn't just home to the best athletics program in the nation. It's also home to the best student-centered engineering experience in America. And that's not just a slogan. It's a promise. The Samuel Ginn College of Engineering ranks as the top engineering college in the state of Alabama, while also ranking as one of the best public engineering colleges in the nation. Tomorrow's leaders, innovators, and world changers begin at the Ginn College of Engineering. Visit today, eng.auburn.edu.
We always picture the SEC student athlete for their speed, their vertical, their agility. But it's time we picture them for more. For their campus voice, their community outreach, and for the simple fact that 20 years later, they're still someone's pride and joy. More than students, more than athletes. In the SEC, it just means more.
Thank you, Auburn, for over 40 years of business. Since day one at Guthrie's, we've been serving up the best golden fried chicken fingers, hand-chopped coleslaw, crinkle-cut fries, and our signature Guthrie sauce. Often imitated, never duplicated. We have 4 Auburn locations to serve you, including South College and our downtown location off East Glen Avenue, which is open until 3 a.m. every night. Fresh, hot, and fast. That's the Guthrie's promise. To find the nearest Guthrie's to you, visit Guthrie'sChicken.com.
We are back on the Tiger Tailgate Show, and it is time for our Guthrie's Game Picks. Guthrie's thanks the Auburn family for over 40 years of business. Since day one, fresh, hot, and fast has always been the Guthrie's promise. Find the nearest Guthrie's to you. Visit Guthrie'sChicken.com. Okay, last week, Paul led the way at 3-1. A 3-1 week. You know you're going to hear about it, too. Ronnie and Andy were 2-2, and Jason was 1-3. Tough week.
Hey,
tough week for Dr. Love.
I was trying to, you know.
You got to take a deep shot every now and then, right, Jason?
You got to shoot your shot, take a shot.
Hey,
you got to try. What?
Brad, just because you strike out once don't mean you got to stay on the side.
Jason.
Wow. You going to listen to your lawyer?
No, I'm going to listen to my lawyer and just tell you that the standings are Andy and
fast
Paul.
pitch all the time.
Andy and Paul are in the lead at 25-11. You know, these live forever on YouTube. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Sideline crew just
like
a game out.
Man.
Yeah, they're 24-12, so one game back. And Jason is a game further back in fourth place at 23-13.
Knew a coach lived down in Lochapoka. Said the big dogs walk late. We're hitting a stretch run here. That's right.
Hey, you remember November, and that's what we've got.
Late. That's how he said it.
I had a good barbecue last night. I'm ready to barbecue today.
Ready to barbecue. All right. Well, let's see how
we do with what we're about to do.
Let's see how we do with this one. 2:30 in Columbia. You got 13th ranked Tennessee, number 14 Missouri. Tennessee a 1-point favorite on the road, and we will start with Andy.
Okay.
Here.
Missouri at home, right?
Missouri is at home.
I'll take Mizzou to win this game at home and basically a picket.
Going back to the home
Mizzou
team.
Tigers.
Mizzou. Paul, what about you?
I'm going with Mizzou as well. Tennessee can run the ball really, really well. Missouri's got more weapons. They run it, they throw it.
All right, so no letdown after coming close playing Georgia well last week. You guys like Missouri?
They're coming right back.
Ronnie.
I see, when you're in third, I'm trying to play catch up a little bit. And, two, I don't want to go with the crowd today. I don't, but
feel a little contrarian.
I think Missouri got a little bit of something brewing because they've given up 60 points the last 2 times they've played Tennessee.
Yeah. And Tennessee ran in a late touchdown to get to 60 plus last time.
I think they got a little bit of bulletin board material that they may be motivated by, but I'm still going with Tennessee. Why not? Take a shot.
Sure. The school that you almost committed to.
Yeah, you almost committed
I
to.
did commit to them.
Okay.
I did committed from them.
All right, Jason, what do you think?
Let's see here,
The game we're picking is Tennessee.
How many games back am I?
You're 2 games back.
2 games back. This is a chance. So
you're saying there's a chance?
Gosh, dog it. I'm gonna go with Mizzou.
All right. So a chance to gain a little ground, but instead you're more afraid of losing further ground.
Well,
right?
it's just the fact that
I mean, who do you think's going to win the game is kind of the
Mizzou
point.
had a tough game against Georgia last week, and right now Alabama didn't travel well when they went to. Tennessee didn't travel well when they went to Alabama, so this is another tough task. I'm gonna stick with Mizzou.
All right, so 3 out of 4 pick Missouri. How about 2:30 down in Orlando? 15th ranked Oklahoma State, a 2.
We have 4 Auburn locations to serve you, including South College and our downtown location off East Glen Avenue, which is open until 3 a.m. every night. Fresh, hot, and fast. That's the Guthrie's promise. To find the nearest Guthrie's to you, visit guthrie'schicken.com.
Andy Burcham here to tell you about our friends over at Truckworks, the official commercial truck dealer of the Auburn Tigers. Truckworks is Alabama's exclusive Kenworth, Hino, and Isuzu commercial truck dealer, and the Southeast headquarters for dump trucks, sleeper trucks, box vans, and everything in between. Step into their TRP parts store in Opelika for all your commercial truck, trailer, and bus parts needs. Truckworks, the partner you can count on in the transportation industry since 1978.
Things we take for granted, ordinary opportunities for parents and their children, can be a foster child's extraordinary. You have the power to do something positive that will change the life of a young person right here in Alabama. Open your heart and open your home to a foster child today. For more information, visit www.dhr.alabama.gov or call 1-866-64-AL-KIDS. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
Some people just know the perfect time to hit the concession stand. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate.
Woo! Nice! I never miss a touchdown. Want a bite?
Yeah, he knows he's got a sixth sense for a snack break. Just like he knows that switching to Allstate can save drivers $468.
Saving $468 based on the national average annual savings for new auto customers surveyed in 2022 who switched to Allstate. Prices may vary based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
We'll use this 2-minute drill to update the Yellowwood scoreboard. A couple of games involving, or a couple of games in the SEC that are underway now. Alabama jumped out to a 21-0 lead over Kentucky just 10 minutes into the ball game. Each team then has scored a touchdown. After that, they go to the half in Lexington with the 8th-ranked Crimson Tide on top of the Wildcats 28-7. Meanwhile, Columbia, South Carolina, the Gamecocks are shutting out Vanderbilt. It's 13-0 South Carolina, and they are underway just a couple of minutes into the third quarter there. Outside of the SEC, in the top 25, a lot of intrigue in Happy Valley. 3rd-ranked Michigan, number 10 Penn State. Wolverines on top early in the third quarter. They are 14-9. Penn State got a touchdown late in the first half and missed the extra point. So 14-9, Michigan on top early in the third quarter. Number 16, Kansas is playing from behind. Jayhawks have been held scoreless thus far against Texas Tech. That game in Lawrence, Red Raiders on top of the Jayhawks 10-0, and they are midway through the third quarter. It's number 23 Tulane with a 21-10 advantage over Tulsa. They're just underway in the second half down in New Orleans. Other scores of note: Clemson leads Georgia Tech 21-7. Virginia Tech leads big at Boston College 31-7. Both of those games are early in the third period. In the Big Ten, it's Indiana 27, Illinois 26, and they have reached the half in Champaign. Army leads Holy Cross 14-0 as well. The first hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show has been brought to you by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Auburn Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Stay tuned in the second hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show. Dontarius Thomas, Derek Brown, Derek Mason, all on the guest list. It comes your way in just 2 minutes. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
There's a new feeling on the Plains this year. New coach, new staff, new players. Because Auburn knows that if you want to be the best, you've got to hire the best. I'm Kenny Mullins for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 613, Auburn's electricians. We train our members to become the top 1% of electrical workers anywhere. It's why we are the best electricians in the world and why we would like to work on your next new electrical project. If you want to be the best, hire the best. Hire IBEW electricians. Learn more at IBEW613.org. War Eagle.
The game has changed, and the future of Auburn athletics now demands a strong NIL program. I'm Jason Campbell. Let's come together, Auburn family, and make a lasting impact. Visit OnToVictory.com. Every dollar you contribute to On to Victory helps create NIL opportunities for our student athletes. Visit www.ontovictory.com and be a part of changing the game for Auburn athletics.
What does commitment sound like? At Alabama Power, we hear you, we see you, and celebrate you on long practice days, game days that bring us together, and every day in between. Your commitment to making an impact for the team, for the fans. That inspires us to be at our best for the communities we champion across the state. We're committed to this kind of energy. That's power for a better Alabama. Alabama Power is a proud supporter of the Auburn Tigers.
This is the Auburn Sports Network, and it's time for another hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage. Conecuh Sausage is the official sausage and hot dog of the Auburn Tigers. Straight ahead, more special guests and features, and a breakdown of the X's and O's as we move closer to kickoff. Here's Paul Ellen to start another hour of the Tiger Tailgate Show.
About 2 hours from kickoff, and they are opening the gates at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Big crowd expected, near capacity on hand here today. Paul Allen, Jason Campbell with you in this first segment. Coach Derek Mason, former Tiger defensive coordinator, former Vanderbilt head coach. He's been around the coaching world for a while. He joins us on this segment. And, Coach, before Jason joins in here, I want to ask you, where do you buy your suits? Because we want to take up a collection and get our producer one of those. I'll tell you what.
You know what? Thank you.
That's a good-looking suit.
Thank you for recognizing my wife told me a long time ago, look good, feel good. And so, with that being said, Nashville is a place, man, where suits get made. And so for me, man, I got a tailor in Nashville. Actually, who was it? Kirk Herbstreit actually introduced me to the tailor that I have now, and you know what? It's been pretty cool, man, because he's done some good work, over the last 8 years. So I've got a couple of suits and a couple of pieces that I think make some sense, but I got to get Jason Campbell on this deal.
Yeah, you wear it better than Kirk. I'll tell you that, Coach.
No, absolutely not.
The thing about him, he say look good, me eat good, feel good.
Well, I can tell you from experience, you do eat good. That's for sure.
I love it.
That is for sure. Coach, you're doing the television analyst role on today's game, and you've been all around the SEC, working for the SEC network in this year. Just kind of give us your overview of this game, because it's a huge game for these two teams.
I think it's a huge game, much like you said. And you've got two teams, one in Auburn, who right now in 2-game win streak, playing extremely well. I mean, they found their offensive rhythm. Defensively, it seems like they're getting their pieces back, but they've played well. I mean, and they continue to hone in on what Coach Roberts wants, out of that defense. I mean, they've been able to take the ball away. And I think when you start talking about complementary football, it's offense, defense, and special teams. And right now, Auburn has that thing clicking. Now, when you look at the Arkansas Razorbacks, nobody expected them to go to Florida and do what they did versus that Gator football team. And so that tells you that, there's talent. It's been well documented what happened to Coach Enos, and how the reins have sort of been transferred to Kenny Guyton, and the energy between him and KJ Jefferson, and really Rocket Sanders right back on the scene. So this is going to be about offense, defense, and special teams from both sides, and it's really two good football teams in the month of November playing a game that means something.
And, Coach, you talk about, these two teams defensively and then offensively, both of them want to run the football.
Right.
But you always talk about turnovers as game changers. So
That's
you look at Auburn, they have #1 red zone defense, and then they have, a top defense in creating turnovers in the SEC. But then you look at Arkansas, they have 8 interceptions, and they return 3 for touchdowns. What make a great defense in a turnover, and what makes a defense really good at turning over the ball on offenses?
You know what? I think you have to have instinctive players on the defensive side of the ball, guys that can get the ball out of the air, guys who have a nose for the ball. When you look at what Jalen Simpson's done this year, when you look at, Donovan Kaufman being able to put his nose on the ball, I think both sides have guys that can find the football. And really, this game's going to come down to, who makes the least amount of mistakes and who can get a turnover and who can turn that turnover into points. So this is definitely going to be a contest where, both teams are going to be tried and tested. And really, I think it's going to come down who can stop the run.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about, what's happening, with the quarterbacks and, the run game. We know Jarquez is going to, get his yards. We understand that Rocket Sanders is back, but I think the X factor are going to be these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Peyton Thorne can run, okay? And when you talk about trying to tackle KJ, that's no easy task. I mean, being a big man yourself, Jay. Yeah. When you're back there and guys bounce off you, man, like Tonka toys, off a wall, I mean, it's extremely hard to get a guy down. So 19 rushes, incredible last week.
And when you think about O-line, D-line, when you look at Auburn, we've been able to rotate 7 offensive linemen this year. But you talk about, Arkansas is 5th in the SEC in defense, total defense. What is it about their defensive line that you feel like can be a problem for us if they're able to try to stop our run?
Well, they do a good job, as most good defenses do, of building a wall, setting an edge, and then tracking a hip. If you can create vertical penetration, and reestablish the line of scrimmage, which is what they do, that front 7, those backers now can flow and go see ball, get ball.
Yeah, Jaheim Thomas is, yeah.
And that's what we're talking about. When you bring up his name, and he can see ball, get ball because of what those guys do up front. When you've got a guy up front taking 2, or getting vertical penetration where the back can't get down hill right now and that back's going sideways, that benefits those backers that are playing behind that front. And I think that's why they've been so effective. One thing to watch today, on both sides of the ball, how these offenses do on, or really how these defenses do, on first down. Offensive first downs and defensive first downs, because we know, and I think Auburn's 3rd in the country, or 3rd in the SEC, I think 15th or 17th nationally in terms of what they do on 3rd down. But if you're managing, 3rd and 1 to 2, most defenses ain't got no answers for that. When you start talking 3rd and 7 plus,
that's where you want to be at.
It's a problem. Yeah. It's a problem.
Coach, big picture look at the SEC. You've seen basically everybody in the league as you travel around with SEC Network. We know where Georgia is. We know where Alabama is. That's shaping up as it's looking like a showdown. But that next tier, what do you think about of what's going on as far as the SEC and people building.
Yeah, Tennessee looks like they found like their momentum a little bit.
They got an identity, yeah.
Joe Milton's playing well. They're starting to make sure, he's starting to make sure that not only does he take care of the football, but, when you look at the ball distribution, it's been amazing. Last week I think he hit, 8 different receivers. And right now he's running the football.
Yeah.
Guys are starting to come into understanding that, I can't just be a pocket passer. I got to do whatever it takes in order to help my team. Well, Jackson Dart on the other side, when you talk about what's happening in the West, he's keeping that thing hot, right? Lane's got that thing rolling, and Jackson Dart's doing a great job of running that tempo offense and distributing the football.
Does it hurt Ole Miss tonight with the weather in Georgia?
Absolutely. It hurts them.
Yeah.
There's no doubt it hurts. And I heard Coach Freeze reference one time when he was at Ole Miss, and they came here and it was wet, and it was damp. And he said they got to run out the gym. So when you start looking at, what those offenses do is speed and space, the ball gets out fast, backs are making hard cuts. I think, Georgia's going to put – it's going to be really hard for Ole Miss.
Real quick before we let you go, you enjoying the TV gig? As basically, how do you – tell us the difference in prepping to be on television versus to be a coordinator.
You know what? They're very much the same,
Yeah.
to be honest. There's a lot of work, and I think people don't appreciate the work that goes on behind the scenes. If you want to be good at anything, then you have to work at it. And so it takes a lot of work. But I will say, One Take Dave Neal, is one of the best play-by-play guys, that I could ask for. So, he helps an old veteran guy who's new to the game understand the importance of cadence, rhythm, and doing a good job. And really, I can't thank him and our producers enough for helping me along the way.
You got a good team over there, and we'll look forward to peeking through the window at you as the day wears on today. Coach Derek Mason, thank you for being with us. We really appreciate it.
Appreciate you guys.
Coach Derek Mason joining us. Hey, the team's on the field. Arkansas strolling around. The Auburn Tigers have come out of the southeast corner of the field. They are forming their circle down around the 20-yard line as they group up down there. It was a great Tiger walk today. A lot of Auburn fans here, perhaps not the 20,000 or so we saw in Nashville last week, but still a good contingent and a good Tiger walk. Tiger Walk report presented by the Alabama Department of Public Health. They remind you, don't wait, vaccinate. Protect yourself and others by staying current on all recommended vaccines, including COVID and flu. Visit alabamapublichealth.gov/IMM and stay with us. The Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
The Whataburger Sweet and Spicy Bacon Burger is an all-time favorite. It brings so many flavors together in harmony, you might wonder if it's greater than the sum of its parts. It's got 2 all-beef patties, both of which fantastic. Crispy bacon, love that. Grilled onions, melty cheese. Who would say no? And sweet and spicy pepper sauce. Yes, please. I guess we're kind of partial to every part. The Sweet and Spicy Bacon Burger from Whataburger, just like you like it.
What does commitment sound like? At Alabama Power, we hear you, we see you, and celebrate you on long practice days, game days that bring us together, and every day in between. Your commitment to making an impact for the team, for the fans. That inspires us to be at our best for the communities we champion across the state. We're committed to this kind of energy. That's power for a better Alabama. Alabama Power is a proud supporter of the Auburn Tigers.
Recruiting plays a major role in team building. Recruiting also plays an important role in protecting my home from termites with Cook's Pest Control and the Centricon system. Termites eat the bait in the Centricon stations, then eagerly recruit other termites to also feed on the bait, thus eliminating the termite colony. You don't have to live with termites. Call Cook's Pest Control for a free quote.
Looky, 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 here comes Cookie, Cook's Pest Control.
The game has changed, and the future of Auburn athletics now demands a strong NIL program. I'm Jason Campbell. Let's come together, Auburn family, and make a lasting impact. Visit OnToVictory.com. Every dollar you contribute to On to Victory helps create NIL opportunities for our student athletes. Visit www.ontovictory.com and be a part of changing the game for Auburn athletics.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
Paul Allen back with Jason Campbell. It's time for our injury health report, brought to you by East Alabama Health. Their team of first responders are proud to provide first aid care at today's game and every Auburn athletic event. Jason, Auburn Tigers to be in mid-November, a relatively healthy team. Avery Jones, the center, only guy probably out today, and even he's been back in practice, but this is a relatively healthy team.
Yeah, this is definitely a healthy team. This part of the year, Paul, is something that you don't normally see across the country, but Auburn struggled with a lot of early injuries in this part of the season. But this time of the year is where you want to be playing your best football, and I think that's what Auburn is doing right now, is playing their best. And a lot of it has to do, they have a lot of guys back healthy. Even Keontae Scott and Austin Keys back in the lineup over the last 2 weeks have helped that defense out tremendously. So the healthier we get, the better we seem to be playing and things falling in place.
Auburn playing 7 guys on the offensive line. Historically, coaches like to settle with 5, but they've stayed with 7 throughout the year. And other than the Avery Jones injury, Connor Lewis stepped in and done a good job. That has worked out well for the Tigers.
Yeah, you definitely want to have depth on your offensive line. I think that's what Auburn has really put an emphasis on this offseason and transfer portal, was getting those guys. But I think Cam Stutz and Gunnar Britton has done an outstanding job in helping Connor Lew. You know, being in that center position, he's a young guy, but he's very talented. But having 2 experienced guys on both sides of you give you the opportunity to grow with experience.
All right, the Auburn Tigers still down on the field after Tiger Walk as they continue to survey things. It's a bright, sunny day here at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. The Hogs have gone back to their locker room. The Auburn Pep Band has made an appearance as well as we get ready for Auburn, Arkansas football. Stay with us. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
What does commitment sound like? At Alabama Power, we hear you, we see you, and celebrate you on long practice days, game days that bring us together, and every day in between. Your commitment to making an impact for the team, for the fans. That inspires us to be at our best for the communities we champion across the state. We're committed to this kind of energy. That's power for a better Alabama. Alabama Power is a proud supporter of the Auburn Tigers.
Here's a clip from a recent Talking Tigers podcast with Andy Burcham.
Jarris McIntyre, former Auburn wide receiver.
It's some games on YouTube that I watched him against Alabama, and some of these, one, I guess, a bowl game against Texas. And he was fast, man. He wasn't the biggest guy, but he would run. He would hit that hole. They were like an Veer type offense. I mean, nowadays he would have been spread out, and I mean, he ended up in there not being that big, and you know, he told me he had some speed. He always would tell me how fast he was, and I didn't believe it until I actually saw it. But he was a heck of a back. You know, since then, you know, we've been have our conversation as running back view, but it was good to kind of know that he was one of the first to be able to kind of start that whole running back tradition.
A new episode of the Talking Tigers podcast is released every Monday, wherever you listen to podcasts. Like and subscribe to the Talking Tigers podcast, only from the Auburn Sports Network.
Hey y'all, this is Ronte, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich is the pimento cheese. I was like, go cheese, go pimento, go honey, go get it.
Hi, this is Chantrice, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A honey pepper pimento chicken sandwich is the mild spiciness of the pickled jalapenos. No, it's the crispy chicken. Actually, I can't decide. It's the entire sandwich.
Order the Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich on the Chick-fil-A app today. Available for a limited time. Real Chick-fil-A guests paid for their testimonials.
And welcome back to the Tiger Tailgate Show from Reynolds Razorback Stadium. It's Auburn against Arkansas coming up. And this is the hour of Derek on the show. We had Derek Mason in an earlier segment, and now joining us, one of the all-time great defensive linemen in the history of Auburn football, and there have been a bunch of them. Derek Brown joins us from Charlotte, first-round draft choice, and, of course, Auburn All-American Derek Brown. Derek, thanks for being with us, War Eagle, and how you doing today?
Well, thank y'all for having me. I'm doing good. Just enjoying the weekend off and hanging out with the family for the weekend.
Derek, if you would just your first couple years in the league for you, what has been the biggest transition for you from the college game as a first-round draft pick, a number 1 draft pick with the Panthers for you?
Just the amount of time that I've spent, having to learn the game and actually learn the game. I think a lot of times in college, you go through the scheme, you play the scheme at a high level, but you don't really understand the scheme or why we're doing certain things. And I think, since I've got to the NFL, it's one of those things that, you've had to understand why we do certain things to, certain offensive formations or certain blocking schemes. And, it's just how they all intertwine with one.
Big Derek, this your boy Jason Campbell, man. I was sitting here beside your big brother Ronnie, but I don't know where he disappeared to. But Derek, you having a good season personally, but as a team, y'all guys are kind of struggling this year a little bit. We got a chance to watch y'all Thursday night. How is it playing with a rookie quarterback and basically a rookie offense, really? When you think about it as a whole, when you're trying to set the standard as a defense, being part of a building process, how does that feel for you right now?
No, what's up, Jason? It's just, it's one of those things where, we go out every single week and, they're gonna do their thing. And it's one of those things where, we can't worry about it on our side of the boat. We are as one. But, when you plan on game day, it's a different feeling because you can only worry about, with your side of the ball, what you got to do. All 3 phases got to work together in order to win that day. But it's one of those things that when you're in playing, you have to be able to just go out there and, do your job to be able to help the 11 guys on the field and, let those guys be able to know you trust them. And, when we get to come out together and we're with the 53, man, it's one of those things where, we evaluate it at the end of the day. If we didn't do our job or, it's one of those things where, Bryson, the offense, man, even the games that they've had, good, man. We've, unfortunately gave up points and, we've had our fair share of struggles throughout the year. So, definitely no blame that way, man. I'm excited for him, man. And, I'm one of those guys that, no matter what happens, man, even last week after the picks, man, first one in the building on Monday morning, right back to work. And, that's the stuff you just love to see.
All right.
Derek, I know that the family's always been very, very important for you. Just talk about your family there and how much time do you get to be with the family?
Yeah, we play Thursday night, as you know. So, I'm getting a little time away this weekend. So, we've already had basketball this morning. We've had t-ball this afternoon. So, it's been a real dad Saturday for me. So, I'm getting ready to head to a birthday party in a little while, so it's definitely Daddy Saturday around here.
Hope you get time to watch a little Auburn football maybe on. You alluded to this earlier, but I'd like to get you to elaborate a little, Derek. The adjustment from college to pro ball. You played in the SEC, and you played against the best of the best in the SEC. But when you jump to the NFL, that's the absolute best of the best. What's the biggest adjustment that you had to make? Was it speed? Was it strength, schemes? What went into that?
I was saying, like I said, the amount of time you spend in the classroom, watching and learning your opponent, you got to be obsessed with it. It's one of those things where you got to truly know, what you're going to get before you get on the field, and then when you get on the field, you need to confirm it. As far as schemes that they're going to try to block you with, what's their thinking in certain downs and distances, and that's one of those things that I've just steadily, gradually just tried to learn along the way.
Hey, Derek, if I had to just say one thing, when you think about you being a pro now, what's the one thing when you look at these college guys, if you could tell these college defensive linemen now, what's one thing that you feel like you learned as a professional that you wish you knew when you was in college?
I think it's the concept of the football, man. I used to sit in the meetings and we'd go over the playbook, and I felt good once I knew the plays. But, I kind of, black out after that. But, still playing at a high level. But, I learned in the league, everybody's good, man. Especially, those guys on the other side, they're so smart conceptually. They may not be the biggest, fastest, or strongest, but, the conception that they have of defense is one of those things that it's a powerful knowledge on that side of the ball. So, you got to be able to even match them when it comes time to be able to go out and do your job. And, being able to know what's going on around you, being able to know what everybody else around you is doing, that's a big part of you being able to make plays or take shots when you get a chance to do that.
They're better at holding in the NFL, too, than they were in college, I bet. Derek, let's talk about your Auburn career. What are your favorite memories when you think back to your years on the Plains, both on the field as well as being a college student?
My favorite memory probably was the Georgia game in 2017, game-wise, and, that was one of those games where I had to sit in the hotel all night, hear how good Georgia was, and, we played them that night, and we beat them pretty heavy. Ended up losing to them a few weeks later in the championship game, and probably the second one is beating Alabama on senior night. That was the last time I ever got to play in Jordan-Hare, so that'd be a memory I'll take with me forever, and, along the way, everything in between, being with the guys, in the locker room and, having those moments with my teammates, continue to stay in touch with one another. That's that's the brotherhood that they talk about.
Derek, talk about your work in the community. I know that's always been important to you, and the work you do there in the Charlotte, North Carolina area.
Yeah, man, I have a great team led by Mike Nattis, man, and it's a special thing for me. It's a special thing for me to be able to give back. Be able to be in a position to be blessed as I am, financially and the stability we have right now. It's one of those things where, it wouldn't be right if I didn't. So, it's one of those things where, me, my family, we've all, that's our mindset. And, me and my wife, especially for my kids to be able to see that and be able to, understand that now at a young age and then hopefully continue it, as they get older.
But Derek, we both got something in common. We were both married a week apart. So when I was at Chateau Elan the weekend, you was getting married. Matter of fact, no, you got married a day after me. I got married that Friday. You got married that Saturday, and I was able to catch you at the Chateau Elan and everything. But congratulations, man, on your life and everything that you're going. You got one thing you want me to tell Ronnie while he keeps tapping me. He up here with a mouth. He got a mouthful of food. He got a mouthful of food. Mouthful of food right now.
Let's tell him to put that plate down, man.
He's enjoying the chicken. Derek, thank you for taking time to be with us. We really appreciate it. We love the way you represent Auburn and everything that you do as a citizen, as a football player. War Eagle, and thank you.
War Eagle, thank you for having me.
War Eagle, Derek.
War Eagle, Derek.
One of the great ones ever to play for the Auburn Tigers, Derek Brown. Hey, if you're looking for an easy, seamless transition to Auburn University, consider Southern Union State Community College. It's conveniently located just a few miles from Auburn. Southern Union offers classes that easily transfer to the university. Endless opportunities are right up the road. We'll check the scoreboard when we come back. The Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
Kia of Auburn is happy to connect the Kia brand to the Auburn fans. Our winning lineup has something for everyone at almost any budget. SUVs like the Telluride, Sorrento, and Sportage. You prefer a sedan? Check out the Rio, Forte, Soul, or the Sporty Stinger. And don't forget our new multi-purpose vehicles, the Carnival, or our amazing hybrid or electric vehicles. Kia of Auburn is a proud supporter of Auburn Athletics. Kia of Auburn, where you're always number one. Whoa, Rico. For generations, Alabama Extension has played a vital role in bettering the world around us. And by taking information discovered through Auburn University research to the people, we are empowering communities to tackle the challenges of tomorrow in a rapidly changing world. As educators, Extension is a partner in every county, bringing practical ways to better our homes, farms, people, and overall way of life. Alabama Extension, extending knowledge, improving lives. Discover more by visiting aces.edu.
This broadcast of Auburn football is brought to you in part by Moe's Original Barbecue. Moe's Original Barbecue in Auburn is the place to go for a Southern soul food revival made from scratch with Southern hospitality. It's also a great place to catch all the games on Saturday when Auburn's on the road. Plus, make us a part of your tailgate experience with our catering options available for pickup or delivery. Moe's Original Barbecue with 2 locations in Auburn, downtown and on Bent Creek Road.
Every team has great athletes, but the ones that come together and have each other's back win the rings. I am Kenny Mullins for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers Local 613, and we are Auburn's electricians. We're a group of over 5,000 highly trained electrical workers who have each other's back every day. We train together, work together, and look out for each other. If you're an electrical worker, come work with people that have your back. Join us at IBEW613.org, War Eagle.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
All right, let's check the Yellowwood scoreboard now. The early wave of games continue to roll on. They are in the fourth quarter up in Happy Valley. Number 3 Michigan leading number 10 Penn State 17-9 as they have just played a minute into the fourth quarter, and Michigan has just punted the ball away 47 yards. They've backed Penn State up inside the 30-yard line. Number 8 Alabama leading Kentucky 28-14, so Kentucky trying to bounce back and get back in the game. They are very late in the third quarter, though, and Alabama is trying to run that clock down. Texas Tech leads number 16 Kansas 13-7. Kansas just scored to open the fourth quarter. Still 12 minutes to go in that one. Number 23 Tulane leads Tulsa 21-13. Tulane needs that one. They are 8-1 as they hope for a New Year's Six bowl game. Army leading Holy Cross 14-7. Army coming off their resounding victory over previously undefeated Air Force a week ago. They are middle of the third quarter. Indiana on the road leading Illinois in the Big Ten 27-26. Also in the middle of the third quarter, Nebraska has come from behind. They now lead Maryland 10-7. South Carolina having their way with Vanderbilt 27-6 as they play very early in the fourth quarter. Virginia Tech pounding Boston College 45-15. That one is early fourth quarter. And after Georgia Tech took the early lead, Clemson woke up, and the Tigers playing at home lead Georgia Tech 28-7. That one is late in the third. That's a look at the Yellowwood scoreboard. More coming up on the Tiger Tailgate Show. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
When Auburn football hits the half, keep it locked on the Auburn Sports Network for the Truckworks Halftime Report. Paul Ellen takes the driver's seat and delivers stats, scores, highlights, and analysis from the first 30 minutes. Plus an on-field interview with head coach Hugh Freeze, getting you ready for the rest of the game. The Truckworks Halftime Report on the Auburn Sports Network.
Hey Auburn fans, it's time to stretch those legs and reach for another bag of Golden Flake. Home or away, with family or friends, you know no game day is complete without your favorite snack. So enjoy Golden Flake or any of our other delicious snacks from the Utz family of brands and sit back for the rest of the game. Golden Flake and Auburn football, a winning team. Simple, Southern goodness. Golden Flake, celebrating 66 years as the official salty snack of the Auburn Tigers.
Yellowwood knows that a five-star backyard is the place to make lasting memories, like roasting marshmallows on a cool fall night. That's it. Turn it nice and slow. Get it toasted all... Oh, no, it's on fire. Oh, you want it on fire. Okay, that's a choice, I guess. Crunchy. For five-star backyards and the most memorable experiences, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have that yellow tag, you don't want it.
Thinking of medical school? Edward Via College of Osteopathic Medicine in Auburn has award-winning medical education and research programs. VCOM partners with Auburn University for student activities, research, and sports medicine physicians to care for Tiger athletes. VCOM is providing tomorrow's physicians for Auburn and the surrounding communities. Find out more at vcom.edu. That's vcom.edu.
Sunny Fayetteville, Arkansas. Just a picture-perfect day. I'll tell you what, you look around, you think of what you normally get in November in Arkansas, And it's not this. This is just picture perfect, and we're going to play a football game in about 90 minutes. They're going to start, they have, as a matter of fact, started the 90-minute clock inside Reynolds Razorback Stadium. Well, Tiger fans deserve the best, and that's exactly what they'll get with Sweet Grown Alabama. Farm fresh produce, meat, honey, jams, and a whole lot more that are just perfect for your next tailgate at sweetgrownalabama.org. That is sweetgrownalabama.org. War Eagle. And a big War Eagle to our next guest on the Tiger Tailgate Show. He is Dontarius Thomas, one of the best linebackers to suit up for the Tigers. He's coached DT now. We'll talk about DT, the player, first. Dontarius, War Eagle, welcome. Thanks for being with us today.
War Eagle, how you doing? Thank you for having me on.
We're doing great. I've got Ronnie Brown here with me, and I know you guys are going to catch up here in a bit. And before that, I want to ask you about specifically the game 20 years ago in this stadium. I can't believe it's been 20 years ago, but a defensive battle. Defensive battle for sure. What do you remember about that game here in 2003?
Honestly, man, I just know it was one of those games that we didn't know if it was tough. It was a tough-fought game, physical game, bumps and bruises, but I just know that we came out, and as a team, we kept grinding and sticking with each other on hey, we're going to get this. Let's not give up. Let's keep playing and keep fighting. So that's one of the things that I do remember, just how it was a hard, tough-fought game.
That was your guy, Fred Talley, right, DT?
Yeah.
We had some conversations about him in our group text, so that was a tough guy. He ran the football really hard. So, Dontarius, man, just to kind of go back, we reminisce a lot. Like, we're on a group text with a bunch of us from school. Just talk about this journey. As a high school coach now, you were a lightly recruited guy from Perry, Georgia. Talk about how things have changed and the mindset that you see a lot of these young men having and your challenge or your emphasis as a coach now.
Going into this new era of kids, I feel like a lot of these kids feel like they're entitled. And one of the things that we try to, that I try to get over into my players is that, if you want something, you got to earn it. Nothing is given to you. You got to take what you want. And it's a privilege to play this game. So, we have to constantly make sure that they understand that, it's going to take something, as much as watching film, studying your craft, and be a football player. And that's one of the things I think is most difficult about this era is that a lot of kids just feel like that they're entitled to this game and that they automatically just go out there and play and have fun, and it'll come to them easily. But, yeah, you got to put in the work and time. And, we have to, like you say, you have to constantly, get that across to them. Like, come on, you got to keep playing and put in the time and the effort to be successful at this level.
And as you talk about, that approach, and that entitled mindset, you played for a coach in Coach Joe Witt who wasn't afraid to get on you as a player. But he also, obviously garnered respect from the players, but he also wanted to make you a man. Talk about that experience and how much of that can you do, in this new age of football.
Yes, you're correct. Joe Witt, I was fortunate to be coached by Joe Witt. And he would, like you said, he was not afraid to get on you. In-your-face type coach. Coach you hard, as most people would say. And I try to, even with my players, I try to, you got to tread lightly with that. Because nowadays, you got parents that are, that cuddle these kids and baby them as what I call it. But you got to try to find that perfect balance of being hard on a kid, coach a kid up, but also not being too light and just let them get away with anything, and let them help them understand this is a process and this is what it takes. If you're trying to get to that next level, you're trying to be a certain type of player that we see and most colleges think that you are. But I was fortunate. Coach Witt was one of those guys. Even though he coached you hard, he let you know that he cared, and that was one of the most important things to me. That he showed that father type figure, where we could talk to him about anything and open up, and it helped out on the field and off the field as well.
Speaking of off the field, DT, I mean, you're a talented guy, but talent there are a lot of talented guys out there. What was the secret to your success as a player? Was there something off the field that you can point to, whether it was high school, college, or the NFL, that enabled you to have the success that you had?
I think one of the things that that helped, gave me motivation, or one of the things that, contributed to my success was the confidence of the hindsight of hope, the potential, like, okay, you can be this player. And you give a kid or give anyone any hope of being something that, that they picture and envision themselves to be. And if they have the proper work ethic and the mindset and they want and the drive to do it, and that's all you have to get on. I think that's the most important thing for instilling in these kids is giving them hope and the mindset, like, hey, if you go out and put the time, if you go out and do what you're supposed to do, if you go out and follow these steps, this is what you're capable of being. And once you start seeing, for me, once I start seeing the result of the time and the work that I put in come to fruition on the field, that's all I need to keep my drive going.
And speaking of that, how, if at any, has NIL impacted, I think the approach on your level, at the high school level, and the way that a lot of these young men approach the game?
You asking me how the NIL has impacted the approach of the game?
How has it, impacted, their approach? Oh,
yeah. So, honestly, man, with the NIL, I'm all for it and I love it. But, it's one of those things that some of these kids, they just feel like, I go back to the entitlement of it. The way they look at it, the way they see it, it's all about, okay, I want to do this because what they feel that it can bring, instead of having the true love and passion we have for the game. They feel like, hey, if I'm doing this, I should be getting that. No, you got to put in the time and the work and the effort and go through the process to achieve that. And instead of, it's kind of watering it down and make it where, you don't see that drive like you used to, that hunger that we used to seeing back in the day. But, it's a great thing, but I think it's one of the things we have to, figure out and make sure that, you're careful with how we're presenting it to our kids so that they understand, like, hey, this is what you need to do, and go back to the entitlement of the, like, you're not entitled to this. If you don't work, if you don't put in the effort, it's not automatic that you have to get this and get that. You got to work for this reward,
Got about a minute or so left with Dontarius Thomas. DT, you're coaching with Jarris McIntyre at one of the most prestigious high school programs in Florida. T-Rob, we know what he's doing at Alabama. Travis Williams is the defensive coordinator here at Arkansas. You got guys, other guys from that era that are coaching as well. What does it say about that group, some of those early 2000s era teams that so many of you are coaching in high-profile positions and are having these kinds of impacts on this generation?
I think it shows that we're a student of the game and that we actually love the game. That many guys coming out and coaching and passing that knowledge that we had the opportunity of having down to the next generation is important, and shows that we still care about the game and so. At the end of that's what I think is part of us, that we're a student of the game and we still have the passion for it.
Yeah, no question about it. We appreciate the time today. Hey, you guys won last night, so are you headed to the playoffs, or was that a playoff win last night?
Yes, that was a playoff win, and we got another tough one that we have to come up this upcoming Friday.
Good deal. Well, we wish you luck. We thank you very much for the time, and enjoy the game today. War Eagle.
Thank you, and War Eagle.
All right, Dontarius Thomas, one of the great linebackers, joining us here on the Tiger Tailgate Show. Stay tuned. The Tiger Tailgate Show continues in a moment.
Things we take for granted, ordinary opportunities for parents and their children, can be a foster child's extraordinary. You have the power to do something positive that will change the life of a young person right here in Alabama. Open your heart and open your home to a foster child today. For more information, visit www.dhr.alabama.gov or call 1-866-64-AL-KIDS. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
How are you the ultimate Auburn fan?
Because I got this air horn installed in my throat. Pretty sick, right?
Yes, you look really sick. What doctor would even do this?
Doctor? I did this myself. I mean, I can't swallow whole food, but still.
Wait, what?
Just gotta plow through it. Hey, can I get a couple of soups up there? What about some chamomile tea? Don't be that guy. Get a fan card. The smart way to be the ultimate Tigers fan. Just go to auburncards.com.
Some people just know that a perfect football field is all about the details. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate. Take the head groundskeeper, for example.
Hands at 10 and 2. 90-degree turns, perfect stripes every time.
He knows, because he's done this 100 times. Just like he knows that paying attention on the road can save safe drivers 40% with Allstate. Saving 40% is based on the national average premium savings for Allstate auto customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and based on how you buy. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Tackle your to-do list this season and find the right Aetna Medicare plan for you in your home state of Alabama. With Aetna Medicare Advantage plans, you can get a $0 monthly plan premium with hospital, medical, and prescription drug coverage. Plans also include dental, vision, and an over-the-counter benefit. Be the star quarterback of your health. Call us for a personalized coverage review now. 1-833-771-7542. TTY 711. Aetna Medicare is an HMO PPO plan with a Medicare contract. RSNPs also have contracts with state Medicaid programs. Enrollment in our plans depends on contract renewal. Plan features and availability may vary by service area.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
Brad Law, Ronnie Brown, and in this 2-minute drill, we are going to talk about some of those guys that Ronnie played with. You know, I ran the list talking to Dontarius, and I didn't even mention Cadillac, who is associate head coach, running backs coach here at Auburn. You got some really successful coaches that were your teammates, Ronnie. So let me ask you, and maybe it's from that group or maybe it's from somebody else, somebody that you played with that you would have liked to have played for, they as your coach.
You know, like you said, that's a long laundry list of guys. You know, from my teammate, backfield mate Cadillac to T-Will to, you know, Jarris, and, you know, you talk about Dontarius and all of those guys. But I think for me it's T-Rob, you know, and the reason I say T-Rob because I think he has that playful mindset. He understands, he relates, but he also demands excellence. But he also shows excellence, the way that he approaches it, his preparation. And so, not saying that all the other guys don't. Sure. I just had a chance to see it a little bit longer, you know, from him working his way up from he go to Arkansas State to the Florida, to South Carolina, to all of the stops, and then now seeing him over at the, you know, the other school in Alabama. Yeah. But I think the way that he approaches, and I get a chance to talk to him a lot about his coaching strategy and approach and recruiting. I think he absolutely loves it.
You're going to talk to him in a couple of weeks about his coaching strategy?
He's an enemy on that day.
That's what I thought. All right, Ronnie, we're going to talk about matchups in this game in 2 minutes. You ready?
Ready.
All right, that's coming up after a word from your local stations. We're going to talk some matchups. Haven't talked about a lot of matchups in this game yet. It's been a loaded show, but we do have that coming up. So stay with us. This is the Auburn Sports Network from Playfly.
Sports not only bring us together, they inspire us on our own health journeys. Whether we're walking an extra lap, crushing a new goal, or spending time with friends cheering in the stands, we all win when we feel healthier and happier. That's why Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama is a proud sponsor of athletic programs across the state. Because a healthier Alabama is a happier Alabama. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Alabama. We cover what matters.
Here's a clip from a recent Talking Tigers podcast with Andy Burcham.
Of course, we're talking about Auburn's Takeo Spikes. 3 forced fumbles, 2 taken back for a touchdown, 13 tackles, quarterback hit, hurry. It was straight domination. And to lose the game and find out at the end of the game, hey, Spikes, great game, you won MVP. And I was like, how can you win MVP and you lost the game? This is the second time in history that it's only happened. And I was like, Lord. But it was the mindset that I had that I converted to where it was like, I don't care what may happen. I see Peyton Manning on the other side. I know they got Jamal Lewis, and I don't care who's getting what. You gonna know 55 today.
A new episode of the Talking Tigers podcast is released every Monday, wherever you listen to podcasts. Like and subscribe to the Talking Tigers podcast, only from the Auburn Sports Network.
Thinking of medical school? Edward Via College of Osteopathic Medicine in Auburn has award-winning medical education and research programs. VCOM partners with Auburn University for student activities, research, and sports medicine physicians to care for Tiger athletes. VCOM is providing tomorrow's physicians for Auburn and the surrounding communities. Find out more at vcom.edu. That's vcom.edu.
On the Tiger Tailgate Show, Brad Law, Ronnie Brown enjoying our fat-free brownies here at Reynolds Razorback Stadium. And Ronnie, let's talk some matchups in this game after I remind the people that this season you can score the Fan Faves value meal at Jack's. It's our hand-breaded chicken nuggets, mac and cheese, and a drink for just $5.99. The Fan Faves value meal. Get it before it's gone. Order online at eatatjacks.com. Matchups here. Ronnie, you got to start with the Arkansas offensive line against Auburn's defensive front. Marcus Harris, Justin Rogers, Jason Jones, Lawrence Johnson. They have become a force in the middle of the D-line for Auburn. They've pushed the offensive line back. The middle of the line for Arkansas is solid. The tackles haven't played up to the expectations to this point. So offensive line Arkansas, defensive line Auburn. Where can the Tigers take advantage of that?
I think in this case, like you talk about Marcus Harris, what he's been able to do and how he's established himself. But I think that his biggest impact is how he's influenced the other young men and brought them along and made them comfortable. You're seeing, Elijah get more comfortable. So those guys, and I think them playing with confidence is going to be a big impact, especially hope we can get to KJ Jefferson. Now, when you talk about getting to him, that's only half the battle. You got to get this big man down, and so that's going to be the key. But also not letting him get that confidence once he does start to try to impact the game, with his legs, trying to put the picket fence on him, not rushing, giving him running lanes to run through. So making sure that you stay level, playing level to him, but also being able to kind of control that line of scrimmage, not necessarily worried about getting pushed on those outside and trying to keep him in that pocket, and so that's going to be the key. I think when you look at this offensive matchup, in Arkansas and, against the Auburn defensive line, it's going to be key of getting to him, getting him on the ground, but also trying to get him to turn the ball over because sometimes he will hold the ball. And so as you get him, because he is a bigger guy, you hold him up and you start trying to get the ball out of his hands and, that mental impact on him and how he approaches it. Hopefully that's a positive thing for Auburn.
Is this more a game for the guys up the middle, a Eugene Asante and the like, than it is for your edge guys or for corners? Because it seems like when Jefferson scrambles, it's not to one side or the other. It's not outside the tackles. He'll step up and then try to find something up the middle.
Yeah, I think that's the key. And I don't know if you go so far to put a spy on him to make sure that when he does step up and he tries to get those lanes, you get and take his bottom half away, because those bigger guys, they're hard. It's harder to get your arms around him, so you got to take him down on the lower half. And the other part about it is just, I think with that is you don't, like I said, with the defensive ends, rush past him. You want to make sure that you stay on a level field with him, not giving him those lanes, not making it as easy to run by or to create those creases. And so if you can do that, now that's where the Eugene Asantes, those guys are really important because now you don't have to worry about escaping the pocket, but you can keep him in, and that gives you a better angle to come downhill and get some bigger hits on him, which that's what you really want to do when you talk about hitting the quarterback, trying to get him, where you can get some solid contact on him.
Jarquez Hunter's been so good, especially the last 3 weeks, averaging over 130, 135 yards a game the last 3 weeks. Looking at the defensive front for Arkansas, they're all 6'4" or better. Landon Jackson at one end, 6'7", 281. Up the middle, 6'5", 319, 6'4", 318. A lot of size, but the last three teams Auburn has played at a lot of size directly up the middle, and that offensive line made holes, and Jarquez Hunter found them.
Yeah, and I think that's the key, man. I think a lot of times, unfortunately, in this game, we think bigger is better. That's not always the case because lateral movement is really important. The bigger you are, the harder it is to establish that. And so you talk about Jarquez, the way he's been approaching the game, getting downhill, one cut, getting upfield, being patient when he needs to. I think that's been his advantage. And like you said, it's been against bigger opponents. And so this offensive line for Auburn has done a really good job of controlling that, at least playing on the defense's side of the line of scrimmage. And so I think that's where Jarquez has been able to find those lanes and being able to have some success running the football. I think that's the thing that may be a little bit underestimated. You get a Raheem Rocket Sanders back for the Arkansas side, and then you got Jarquez, who seems to have coming into his own as of late, looking like the old Jarquez, and the success he's had running the football. That's going to be the key for both of these teams. Who can stop the run? And like Derek Mason said earlier, it's the quarterbacks are the X factor in that.
And a lot first down, obviously, is huge because that puts you in a better situation for third down. Arkansas has been top half of the league in total defense, pass defense, rush defense. They're 7th, only 122 yards a game. They're +2 in turnover margin. Auburn +4. A lot of things that have gone well for Arkansas outside of the play of their offense as a whole. What do we expect from a Travis Williams defense as a whole?
I think for them, it's trying to stop the run. I think they're going to be heavy emphasis. If we watch the last few Auburn games, to see Jarquez Hunter, the success he's had running the football, I think you try to force Auburn to have to pass the ball because that's been the key. And you look at, the early years failures or challenges were throwing the football. And so when you're looking at that, Travis Williams has seen it just as everyone else has, is trying to force this Auburn football team to throw the football and not Jarquez Hunter and crew to be able to establish something in the running game. And if you can do that, then you force the ball in the air, which creates opportunities for turnover. And I think that's the same thing for this Auburn defense. You try to do the same thing.
Maybe a game where they walk the nickel Hudson Clark a little closer to the line of scrimmage, try to get a little advantage in the numbers game.
Yeah, I think you would see some of that, and that's the same thing for this Auburn. I would expect to see Donovan Kaufman around the line of scrimmage a little bit more.
All right, good stuff. Look forward to hearing you from the sidelines. Thank you.
All righty.
That's Ronnie Brown, and that will do it for the Tiger Tailgate Show presented by Conecuh Sausage. What a show today. Thanks to our guests, Derek Brown, John Cohen, Derek Mason, Eli Stove, Brian Robinson, and Dontarius Thomas. Now, stay tuned for the Outdoor Alabama Countdown to Kickoff, which features more matchup analysis like what you just heard, plus the SEC report, starting lineups, interviews with Hugh Freeze, coordinators, players, and a whole lot more ahead of today's game here in Fayetteville. Still have one more 2-minute drill. We'll check the Yellowwood scoreboard, and we do thank you one more time for listening to the Tiger Tailgate Show.
Conecuh Sausage is a fan favorite for tailgating, always great on the grill, and it's the official sausage dog and hot dog of the Auburn Tigers. Conecuh Sausage is made from the finest cuts of pork, their patented blend of seasonings, and smoked over a pure hickory fire for that true Southern flavor. Be sure to visit the Conecuh Gift Shop in Evergreen, Alabama, right off I-65 at exit 96. Enjoy a crowd-pleasing Conecuh Sausage dog while watching the Tigers and make Conecuh part of your game day. Conecuh Sausage, since 1947, a real winner.
Saturdays in the South mean football and outdoor projects. And when it comes to outdoor projects, nothing beats quality John Deere equipment from a team you can depend on. That's why we trust Sun South, where owning the best equipment made is easy and affordable, whether you're working on your lawn, camp, farm, job site, or even ball field. For all your outdoor equipment needs, visit Sun South with 21 convenient locations, or shop online at sunsouth.com. Sun South, equipment for those that do. Sun South is the preferred tractor dealer of the Auburn Tigers.
Some people just know the perfect time to hit the concession stand. Those are the people who know to choose Allstate.
Woo! Nice! I never miss a touchdown. Want a bite?
Yeah, he knows he's got a sixth sense for a snack break. Just like he knows that switching to Allstate can save drivers $468.
Saving $468 is based on the national average annual savings for new auto customers surveyed in 2022 who switched to Allstate. Prices may vary based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
This is a 2-minute drill on the Tiger Tailgate Show, presented by Conecuh Sausage.
All right, we'll check the Yellowwood scoreboard games in progress now. The two SEC games have produced 40-point outings for the teams that are in front. They have not been close really at all today. Number 8, Alabama, jumped out to a 21-0 lead at Kentucky in the first 10 minutes, and they lead 42-14 now early in the fourth quarter up in Lexington. Meanwhile, South Carolina has gotten a 350-plus yard day from Spencer Rattler. Gamecocks destroying Vanderbilt 40-6. In fact, they may have just taken it in again. 40-6, South Carolina leads Vanderbilt. Another big day for Xavier Leggett. Leggett with 9 catches, 120 receiving yards. That's close to 400 receiving yards for the South Carolina wide receiver in the last 2 ball games. Outside of the SEC, Michigan has just punched in a touchdown. Blake Corum has just taken it in from 30 yards out. Michigan extends its lead over Penn State 23-9 with the extra point pending up in Happy Valley. Number 16, Kansas State has gotten on the scoreboard. Jayhawks continue to trail, however. Texas Tech with a 13-10 lead, and they're getting late, under 3 minutes to go in Lawrence. In the Pac-12 today, it is number 21 Arizona playing at Colorado. Buffaloes with 2 first-quarter touchdowns to lead the Wildcats 14-7. They're early in the second quarter in that matchup. Down in New Orleans, number 23 Tulane leads Tulsa, but it's tighter than it was. 24-16 is the lead for the Green Wave. They've got about 6 minutes to go in that contest. Some other scores of note: it is Clemson leading Georgia Tech 42-14, 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Nebraska and Maryland are tied at 10 early in the fourth, and Illinois leads Indiana 39-27 early in the fourth period. Outdoor Alabama countdown to kickoff is 2 minutes away. This is the Auburn Sports Network from